Football fans, welcome back to yet another Touchdowns to Home Runs. And if you've been following this channel for a long time, or even if you're a recent subscriber, you'd have no idea I'd have a green screen. I haven't used this thing in so long, but you know what? I'm using Tiermaker for the first time, and we're brought back out the old green screen. It feels great to be back with no background. I don't have to pick what jerseys I have behind me. I could just get up here and talk, and then later edit everything else, and then I have this in the background. It's gonna be amazing. But today I got 32 of the top draft prospects. Now, this isn't necessarily my top 32 prospects, but I just picked the most popular guys, the most talked about guys, all those guys, top 32 of them, and I'm just gonna rank them. I've never done a tier maker before on this channel. I've done tier makers before by myself, but who hasn't? Just like stuff like fast food, just something. One of my buddies, John, if you're watching this, he told me to make a tier maker of fast food. I might do it. Let me know down below in the comments, because if you guys say, Noah, I want to see your fast food tier maker, I will do it. I will 110% do it. Guys, if you are a football fan as big as me, college football or NFL or sports in general, this is the channel for you. Even if you're subscribed, you can do me a huge favor right now and smash that like button. But if you are not subscribed, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, because you're doing yourself a favor. You're not only doing me a favor, because I'd love to have you here in this community. Me and Bernie would love to have you on our channel, but you get rewarded with some great daily content here on Touchdowns to Home Runs. So let's get into it. I have 5 categories. I have the elites, I have the great players, I have the underrated players, I have the overrated but still quality players, then I have overrated players. So it's kind of all over the place. There's not really, I have a top half and a bottom half. I just feel like a bunch of these players fall into certain categories, and that's what I'm going to put them in today. So starting off, I got 32 pictures below me. Going to drop all of these guys in a place and see where they end up. So starting off, we have a guy named Christian Barmore, D lineman for Alabama. Obviously won a national championship this year. I think that he had a very, very good season on the D-line for Alabama. Got lots of pressure. I think he should be a first-round pick. Will he go first round? I'm not 100%, and for that reason, I'm going to drop him in the underrated category. Christian Darsaw, or however you pronounce it, Darsaw, whatever you want to say. O-lineman from Virginia Tech. I'm going to drop him in the overrated but still quality players. This guy, I've seen him go in early first round. And yeah, first round pick this year, like first top 10 pick, you're going to have some really, really good guys. So not to say that this guy's not going to be a great player. That's why I have this category right here. Not to say that he's not going to be a great player, but you look top 10 pick for an O-lineman. That's not another guy that we're going to get to later. I think is a bit much, so I'm dropping him there. Mr. Heisman, Devontae Smith, make your way up to the elite category, please, because no questions about it. I don't even need to describe him why he's in the elite tier. He's in the elite tier. Travis Etienne, if you see my shirt, big Carolina Gamecocks fan. This is a guy that has destroyed South Carolina the last 4 years of his career. And he's the only guy on Clemson that I can willingly say that I somewhat like. Can't stand Trevor Lawrence. Can't stand anyone else on Clemson. But you know what? Travis Etienne, I'm dropping him in the underrateds. I really feel like people barely even have him going in the first round. This guy is easily a first round talent. I don't know why he's dropping so low. Maybe it's just the running back need within certain teams, but you can find it in your facility or whatever you want to call it to have this kid on your team. Caleb Farley, cornerback. I'm dropping him in the overrated, sadly, with his Virginia Tech teammate. Again, not to say that he's not going to be a great player. He's one of the top, if not the top highest rated cornerback in the whole NFL draft. I just take 2 guys up on top of him, so that's why I'm putting him there, but he's still a quality player. Gregory Rousseau on Miami. I'm pretty sure he opted out this year. He didn't even play this year. Miami defensive end. I'm dropping him in the overrated. Not to say that he's not going to have a great career in the NFL, but I'm really just not feeling it from this guy, and that's just my opinion. Like, obviously, I have no say in how these guys are actually going to perform in the NFL. Like, any of these guys are actually going to watch this video. It's just all speculation. It's just to give you guys some entertainment and see what other people are thinking about the draft prospects. Jamar Chase, elite. Those 2 guys right there. The elite category, the wide receiver position right now is pretty stacked. Love to see that. Those 2 guys are 2 of my favorite wide receivers in all of college football. Next up, we got J.C. Horn from South Carolina. Underrated for sure. I see this guy going late first round. This guy should be at least a top 15 pick. I tell you, he's a physical guy. Nice big size for a cornerback who's still very versatile. He's good on his feet, and he just covers guys. Like, he will drape over guys all game long. Locked down Seth Williams this season for Auburn. Won Walter Camp Player of the Week. J.C. Horn, definitely an underrated player in my opinion. Justin Fields, there's 3 categories that I could drop him in. I feel like he's underrated in some sense. A lot of people do not give him the credit he deserves. I feel like he could be reaching at that elite point too, but I'm going to drop him in great. He's a really great prospect. I want him on the Carolina Panthers. I'm also a Carolina Panthers and big Chicago Bears fan. The Bears are my favorite team, but the Panthers are another team I really, really love. So I hope he ends up there. He's a great player. He's going to be a great player wherever he goes. Kwity Paye for Michigan. I'm going to drop him in the great category too. He's been getting a lot of mocks in top 10. I think he deserves it. He's a huge defensive lineman out of Michigan, and he's really one of the only bright spots that Michigan had all season. So next up, we got Kyle Pitts, elite, hands down. You got the 3 best ball catchers in the draft right there in the elite category right now. Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, even if you don't need a tight end, you're going to take this kid. Like, that's how talented this kid is. He is going to make a difference on whatever team he plays for. Again, a team like Carolina, a team like the Patriots need a pass catcher. He would be a huge fall to them. Like, the Patriots don't pick till 15, but if the Patriots were able to get their hands on Kyle Pitts, he's not only a tight end, he's a pass catcher. Like, he's literally a wide receiver. Kyle Pitts, definitely elite tier. Kyle Trask, see, I don't want to say, there's parts of me that don't want to say he's underrated, but he's not also great. I wouldn't put him in the great category, so I'm going to drop him in underrated. I think a lot of people look past Kyle Trask. They have him second, third rounder. He could be a really, really good backup quarterback just under a guy for a couple years, and who knows, we could see this guy come in for an injured QB and then blow up, be a star in the league. He has the potential. It's just a lot of people, we obviously saw in that Oklahoma game, he had a really, really rough game, so that's why I'm dropping him back there. Mac Jones, great quarterback. I think he's underrated, but I'm going to put him in the great category because won a national championship. His passing numbers were absolutely insane, and the guy still doesn't get the respect he deserves. Yes, he had Devontae, he had Jalen Waddle, he had John Mechie, he had all these guys, Najee Harris on the offense, but you can't just be any quarterback and step in at the University of Alabama and win a national championship and put up the numbers, the record-breaking numbers that he did. So Mac Jones, definitely a great player. Jalen Mayfield, I'm going to drop him in underrated. Offensive lineman for Michigan. Again, not too many bright spots for Michigan this season, but I'm pretty sure Jalen Mayfield was a big, big plus. Even though he's leaving, he was one of the brighter spots of that Michigan team, as well as Kwity Paye. Going in, Morig from TCU, safety from TCU. I'm going to drop him. A lot of people have him going late first round safety. Like, I've seen him to like the Packers, the Saints, like teams like that, the Bills, all teams like that. I'm going to drop him in. I don't know if I want to say overrated, but still quality because this is tough. These are where these tier makers get you, but I can't put him in under. I can't say he's overrated, but still quality and then go, oh no, he's an underrated player. I'm going to drop him in there. Safeties, there's no one that will really, really jump out at you this year. There's no, who did we have last year? Antoine Winfield, one of the best defensive players in the league. There's no guys like that, in my opinion, that really jump out at you. There's no Xavier McKinney, who I think was a big guy last year on the safeties board. It was Grant Delpit. Can't remember where he went. I think he went like early second round, but I'm going to say he's still going to be a quality player. He's still going to be a quality safety, but first round talent, I'm not too sure about. Najee Harris, 110% underrated. Again, just like Travis Etienne, the fact that this guy, some people don't even have him going in the first round is insane. I see a lot. It sounds insane because I know both of these guys went to Alabama and you guys could just think I'm being crazy, but he's just like a Christian McCaffrey. He's like if Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry had a child. You get Najee Harris because Najee Harris is a really good pass catcher out of the backfield. Yes, you look back at the Auburn game in 2019. He had a pretty bad play where he just didn't turn around for the ball, dropped it, tipped it up to an Auburn defender, and he takes it 100 yards. I'm pretty sure it was Noah Igbenogany, however you pronounce his last name on the Dolphins. But Najee Harris, the whole season was hurdling guys, making plays out of the backfield, playing physical football, underrated 110%. If anybody, whoever grabs Najee Harris is going to be very lucky. Nick Bolton, I'm also throwing in that underrated category. The way that he led Missouri's defense this season, Missouri had a really, really good defense this season. You found them, they were a team that slipped under the radar. They did find themselves in the college football playoff rankings towards the end of the season. I think Nick Bolton, I've seen him late to the Buffalo Bills, teams like that, the Packers. He's a guy that could really be a difference maker for a team on the field. Next up, we got Joseph Osai from the University of Texas. I'm going to go overrated, but still quality. Again, late first rounder in a lot of mocks, but you got a lot of defensive linemen, but there's just so many other positions that are really, really stacked, and there's not too many other than I think Kwity Paye's the undisputed number one defensive end in all of these guys. And after that, there's a bit of a drop-off. So I'm not saying that this guy's going to be a bad player at all, but he's still going to be a quality player, but he's a bit overrated. This is the name I always screw up. I think it's Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I'm going to go overrated in this one. Notre Dame, the linebacker position, again, just like that DM position, there's one guy who really jumps out to me, and then there's just a big drop-off after that. And a lot of people have this guy going like mid to late first rounds. Not to say that he's going to be a bad player. Like all these guys are going to have amazing careers in the NFL, and I wish the best for all of these guys, but it's just my opinion. Again, doesn't mean anything. Next up, we got another linebacker who, in my opinion, is the best linebacker in this draft. I'm going to go great category. Micah Parsons from Penn State, just a quality ball player, just a really, really high-level caliber player that you're going to want at the linebacker position. He's going in the top 15. If he slips anywhere past that, I think that is going to be a huge steal for whatever team goes and grabs him. I've seen a lot of talk to him to the Patriots, building back up on that defense, getting some linebackers in there. But anywhere could take Micah Parsons, and they will be more than pleased. You can never have too much quality players at the linebacker position. I can guarantee you that. Pat Fryermuth, tight end from Penn State, go underrated. Kyle Pitts gets all the talks, as he should, for the tight end position. But after that, Pat Fryermuth is a guy that just fell under the radar. Penn State sucked this year, so people didn't really pay attention to him. He's going to be a good player in the NFL. I think that he's a quality pass catcher and a good blocker out of Penn State, so I'm going the underrated for him. Patrick Surtain, I'm going great here. Patrick Surtain, in my opinion, is probably the best cornerback in the draft. He's gone up against some of the best wide receivers the whole season this season, and he's lived up to it. Man, that kid can play. He can cover guys, and he's the best cornerback in the NFL draft. I have no problem in saying that. Rashad Bateman. Where do I want to put Rashad? Rashad. Where do you deserve to go? I'm going to put overrated, but still quality. Just the amount of wide receivers that you have in this draft. I love Rashad Bateman. I loved him at Minnesota, especially in that 2019 season. That was a really fun season to watch him and Tyler Johnson side by side in Minnesota. But again, you just have a lot of guys in this draft that could possibly go above him, that you see going behind him sometimes. So that's the only reason why I'm putting him there. But he's going to be a real good wide receiver wherever he goes. Rondell Moore, I'm going to go overrated here. Again, I hate putting guys in overrated because, again, I don't watch these players the utmost, but what I do see and everything, this is just on me going off of speculation. These guys put their heart and soul into this sport and try to make it to this level, and for me to critique them and put them in the overrated level, they don't deserve it. But again, this is just content. This is just entertainment. It's for you guys to hear my opinion on what I think about all this. Rondell Moore from Purdue. Again, there's so many wide receivers in this draft class. Another guy that I completely forgot to put in this list. I remembered to put him in. I just forgot to type his name and save the image. Kadarius Toney is a guy that I should have definitely put in here for wide receiver. But Rondell Moore, late first rounder, looking at Green Bay. You look at, I think I've seen some KC, even though I don't understand why they wouldn't go for an offensive lineman. Makes no sense. But Rondell Moore, again, there's so many wide receivers, and for him to get all the talks that he does, he's a great player, but you got some elite wide receivers that you're going up against, and I just don't really feel it with Rondell Moore. Penny Sewell, elite offensive lineman. He's a huge guy. He's going to go to Cincinnati. He's going to protect Joe Burrow. I can put some pretty good money on that. Rashaan Slater, out of Northwestern, I'm going to put him in the great category. Seen a lot of top 10, top 15 mocks of him going to teams up there. Big guy. You just got to block your guys, and I think that he can help the run game for whatever team he goes for. He can help the passing game, so I'm putting him in the great category. I hate to do this, my least favorite player in all of college football, but he deserves it. Trevor Lawrence, elite category. It kills me to say that. It really, really kills me to say that, but that's just how I feel. Trevor Lawrence, elite category. Let's move on. I don't want to touch on it. Terrace Marshall. Terrace Marshall, underrated. He opted out halfway through the season for LSU, but what he did do at LSU, especially in a receiving core in 2019, where you have yourself in Terrace Marshall, you have Justin Jefferson, who probably should have won the Offensive Rookie of the Year. The fact that Justin Herbert won that is beyond me, but Justin Jefferson broke rookie records for wide receivers. You have Jamar Chase, who's about to do probably the same thing for the Miami Dolphins, or you look at the Lions or teams up there, the Bengals maybe he gets reunited with the Joe Burrow. But Terrace Marshall was still able to put up some crazy numbers, and he had a pretty good season this year, even though the quarterback position wasn't always the most consistent in LSU. Terrace Marshall is a guy that I think flies under the radar for sure. Trey Lance, I hate to do this because this is a player that I honestly love. Trey Lance, I'm putting him in the overrated but still quality category. You see him going like top 5 now, top 3 in some. I think he's a top 15 pick easily, but top 4, saying top 4, top 3 is really, really stretching it in my opinion. So that's why I'm putting him in. He's still a really quality player, but he's a bit overrated in my opinion. I'm going to go Vera Tucker, underrated. Again, just a big-bodied offensive lineman from USC. Nothing much to talk about there. A bunch of offensive linemen slip under the radar just because you look at the skill players that you have above of you, but I think he's going to be a real quality player. Jalen Waddle, I'm going great category. He's not at that elite level, in my opinion, just for the wide receivers. I think you stick with Devontae and Jamar, and then there's it's not a huge drop-off from Jalen to those two, but I look at the great players in this list right now. Jalen's the only guy in the great, so you have your top 3, clear-cut top 3 wide receivers in this draft, and I think Jalen Waddle is maybe, out of all those guys, he's that guy who's like right in the border of elite to great players. He's a really, really good player, and I can't wait to see what he does in probably the Lions. I think he's going to the Lions. Finishing it off with BYU's superstar quarterback, whose stock has gone through the roof. I want to put him here because I think he's slightly overrated, but he's too good to go there. I think he's too good to go there, so I'm going to put him in the great category. I don't think he's elite. I do think that he's going to be a good player. People have him going second. I think the Jags said, or who was it? Someone said that they're going to take Zach. I think the Jets said if Trevor Lawrence is still around and Zach Wilson is, they're going to take Zach Wilson. I'm guessing that's just to scare the Jags and make them think more about their pick. But people think Zach Wilson's the real deal. I watched a couple of his games at BYU. He was a great player, don't get me wrong. That's why we have him in the great category. But I think he's, again, Jalen's like up here kind of in the elite great, moving back down, in the elite great border. And then you have Zach Wilson kind of like there. He's close to it. I don't think he's there yet, though. Jalen Waddle is probably the closest. I like Justin Fields up there, near there, too. Mac Jones is probably in between. I think he's mad underrated. That's my list. What else can I say? That is my tier rankings list for just 32 of some of the most talked about prospects. Again, I've missed some guys. Clearly, I can't put every single prospect in here. That would just be insane, and you guys wouldn't even have time to watch this whole video. Kadarius Toney is a guy that jumps out to me. Kadarius Toney. Texas's O-lineman. I forget his name. Cosme. Who else? There's a lot of other guys. We know that. Can't rank them all, but I think I did a pretty good job here of just getting the main top guys. You got all the top guys in here, and then there are a few borderline guys that you might not see. But I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on this list down below, who you put where and why, because obviously my list is going to be way different from you guys, and that's kind of what makes these videos interesting, because not everyone will have the same thing. You'll find the people that agree with you, you'll find the people that disagree with you. It's sports, and what makes the sport great, and that's my list. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Smash that like button down below, hit the sub button, comment anything about the NFL draft coming up, anything football related. Love to hear from you guys, and thank you for watching, and definitely come back next time.